This is a Dynamite Network podcast.
Hi, and welcome to the Dynamic Duel podcast, where we review superhero films, and that's it from now on, because, guys, this is our final episode of our weekly show, the end of Dynamic Duel as it exists. I'm Marvelous Joe.
And I'm his twin brother, Johnny DC.
And in this episode, we're going to take a look back at the past 10 years of Dynamic Duel. Jonathan, we've been running this show for a decade now. You and I have decided to semi-retire from podcasting. Does it feel like it's been 10 years?
I feel like it felt like a good 6 years, maybe. But maybe that's just how long the podcast has been good. Because our first few years going into it were super amateur.
They were, yeah. I would say starting in 2018, the show started picking up a little bit. But no, we started this show in 2016, a few days before we turned 30 years old. And the day after this episode drops, you and I will be turning 40 years old. So we've dedicated a quarter of our lives to this podcast. We run so many simulations, reviewed so many Marvel and DC films. And I think a decade is a good time to exhaust any single topic. I think we've done a good job.
I'm not surprised that this show is not going on forever because there aren't an infinite supply of Marvel and DC characters. Now, when we started the show, we knew that we wanted part of the show to be educational, which is why you never saw us repeat characters in our duel episodes, because we wouldn't have to reshare the same backstory. And so just over these 10 years, trying to come up with the best pairings for individual character matchups has, I think, come almost to its conclusion.
For sure, yeah. There's still a lot of characters out there that we haven't got to, but we've gotten to a lot already.
Does anybody care about those characters?
But the way this episode is going to go is we're going to go ahead and break down the past 10 years by figures. Then we're going to go over our reflections over the past 10 years on the episodes that we produced. And then we're going to produce the final results that we have determined in this show, revealing exactly who is superior between Marvel and DC. Are you nervous, Jonathan?
Not at all.
You should be.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to cry after this episode. Hopefully during. At the end of the episode, to close out the show, we're going to hear from you, our audience, who called in to say goodbye. Our deepest gratitude to everyone who took the time to do that. But let's go ahead and break down the past 10 years of Dynamic Duel episodes in number format. All right, breaking it down by figures. Jonathan, over the past 10 years, you and I produced 472 full episodes, 243 of which were duels, 26 of those were team duels, 213 reviews, 10 Brothers Award shows, 4 San Diego Comic-Con shows when we were doing that, and then the 2 bookends, Secret Origins, and now Bullpen Bulletins.
That is a lot. And I remember like every duel and every review we've done, not always the results, but yeah, I enjoyed doing them. It's been a fun 10 years.
Well, we also produced bonus episodes for Patreon. We put out 92 bloopers episodes, 46 top 10 episodes, 16 fast pitches, for a total of 154 total bonus episodes. Now, when you combine the bonus episodes with the standard Dynamic Duel show, you get a total of 560 hours of audio that we put out over the past 10 years. That's a lot of listening time. If listening to us was your full-time job in a 40-hour work week, it would take you 14 full weeks to listen to our show in its entirety.
I'm always surprised when we get new listeners and they're like, oh yeah, I've gone back all the way to the very beginning and I'm working my way through. That is a lot of listening hours. And especially towards the beginning, not necessarily even good ones.
Right. All in all, you and I spent 14,160 hours combined between the two of us in the past 10 years working on the show, which, if that was our full-time job, it would take us together 3 years and 5 months working full-time to produce the amount of content that we did.
That's not surprising to me. And we did that on top of already having full-time jobs and families.
Yeah, wouldn't it have been cool to make Dynamic Duel our full-time job?
I mean, that was always the dream.
Yeah, just never got there. Our most popular episodes were Batman vs. Moon Knight, Titans vs. X-Men, Darkseid vs. Thanos, Superman vs. Dr. Doom, and Justice League vs. Avengers. So basically, no one cared about the reviews.
I'm so glad we're switching to a review format.
And actually, when you look at our least popular episodes, our top 5 least popular, that would be the 2017 Brothers Awards, the Inhumans in IMAX review, the Watchmen Chapter 2 and Chapter 1 reviews that came out a couple years ago, those animated adaptations, and Jessica Jones Season 2. For some reason, more people listen to our Jessica Jones Season 3 review than Season 2, which is interesting.
Well, our audience has been growing steadily over this past decade. So I guess I'm not surprised that Jessica Jones 3 got more listens than Jessica Jones 2, but I guess that doesn't answer why a majority of our most popular episodes are early episodes.
Yeah, maybe the Jessica Jones season reviews will get more listeners when the character returns to Daredevil Born Again Season 2. In terms of audience demographics, our listeners mostly came from the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, Germany, Sweden, New Zealand, Philippines, Ireland, Mexico, and that's it. In terms of our listening audiences, gender and age ranges, 86% of our listeners were male, 12% female, 2% other/non-specified. Elder millennials enjoyed the show the most, followed by elder Gen Z, then young millennials listen to us, followed by Gen X, then younger Gen Z, and then only 2% of our audience incorporated people under the age of 18 who are Gen Alpha.
That's not surprising to me. You and I are elder millennials, and we probably don't attract too many of the younger demographics because we don't use words like Riz and Cap and 6'7", stuff like that.
You say 6'7" all the time. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but
you're basically a child.
Not on the microphone.
But now let's get into our final reflections. Jonathan, what would you say was the hardest part about making Dynamic Duel these past 10 years?
I actually don't think it had anything to do with the show itself. I really liked writing the backstories. I really liked doing the research. It was maintaining social media.
Yeah.
That was the most challenging part.
I agree. The marketing of the show, like we didn't have any time or really a budget to market the show. So we really had to rely on organic growth throughout this past decade. And like, you know, we had full-time jobs. It would have been nice to make this our full-time job, but like the free podcast model, since podcasts are distributed through RSS feeds, it's not a great platform for supporting creators. You know, creators have to set up things like Patreon, or your show has to be picked up by Spotify or something like that in order to get paid. Considering we had to do all of our growth organically, it's a huge testament to our listeners who likely shared the show or introduced it to other people, talked about it, where we were able to reach, you know, the top 1% of podcasts, hitting about 20,000 listeners a month. Jonathan, what was your favorite part about making the show these past 10 years?
Well, I still think the biggest point of pride in the past decade is becoming Rotten Tomatoes certified.
Yeah.
That was always a goal of ours ever since we were younger. Like in high school, our first job was working at a movie theater. We were the president and vice president of our high school film club. We started off our careers in journalism thinking we were going to be movie critics, and when we ended up becoming graphic designers instead, it was nice that we were still able to accomplish that lifelong goal of becoming film critics.
Yeah, we came full circle with this podcast. My favorite part was just recording. We had a blast recording every week. I always had to cut out a lot of our laughter because we have really annoying laughs. If you listen to our early episodes, you'll drive yourself crazy because we laugh at our jokes constantly. But it just showed that we had a really good time recording. How would you gauge the overall success of the podcast over these past 10 years, Jonathan?
I'd like to say downloads and listeners, but we really peaked with that like around COVID time.
Yeah.
Now it's just been different milestones, like attaining Rotten Tomatoes status, like winning podcast awards, like starting up new podcasts for the Dynamite Network.
For sure. Yeah, we were only ever going to be able to get so far with downloads, but things like getting mentioned in USA Today, like quoted as a critic for Madam Web, and then you got quoted in Movie Web for your Superman Red Sun review, and you got quoted in Digital Spy for your Penguin Season 1 review. That was really cool. We got recognized in our local independent newspaper, the Denver Westward, as being one of the top nerd-tastic podcasts or whatever. So just that media exposure was fun. Winning the awards was great in 2020. We won like Best Colorado Podcast, Best Sound Design, and Best Co-Hosts. Our executive producers really came through on the votes for that one, and that was really validating. Where I wish that we would have gotten more recognition over the past decade was within the power scaling community. Because the power scaling community, when you look on like Reddit it's huge. They're constantly comparing characters to try and see who would win. They take a very different approach than we do, which is to look at the characters as a group of statistics and then compare them. They go largely off of feats, which I don't think is a very effective way of finding out who would win. If we did that, we would have been just like Death Battle, which I don't think is always entirely accurate, because Death Battle's over here saying that Booster Gold would survive the death of a galaxy or something like that, where I don't think he would. Like, there's these chords to the characters represented by their stats that writers will often stray outside from that core to fit the needs of their story. And people don't recognize that just because a character has done something or has this certain feat doesn't mean that it's always in line with who that character is.
Yeah, for example, when you see Superman fly across the universe, it doesn't mean that he could fly faster than light. It's just, a plot convenience.
Right.
It's no surprise that this show was inspired by Spike TV's The Deadliest Warrior. We said that a lot during our early episodes. And I think the Monte Carlo approach that we took with these simulations, the same way that they did, is a huge deal. It's one of the things that makes our show really unique. And I think in a lot of ways better than a lot of the debates that you see happen online within like the power scaling community.
Yeah, I think the power scaling community could actually learn a thing or two about how to approach the matches for sure from this show. I think we were very fortunate across the past decade to get almost near universal positive feedback for the show. On Apple Podcasts, we ended up with like a 4.9 rating, and on Spotify, we have like a 4.8. I think one of the only negative things I ever heard was that we don't always pronounce words correctly, which is totally fair.
If I could afford elocution classes, I would. There's so many times I've said so many things incorrectly that I'll just friggin' turn off the episode as I'm listening. Just like, gosh dang it, Jonathan.
This whole episode is ruined because you said bestowed. I remember learning a few things through that feedback, like the past tense of win is not won, it's won.
Juan.
Things like that. What were your favorite episodes over the past 10 years?
So I don't think there's an episode that I dislike, but for me, doing something new, like what we recently did with House of Mystery versus Crypt of Shadows, or our Monitor versus Watcher episode, or even the Riddler versus Arcade, I wish we found more ways to do interesting things like that over the course of the 10 years, because those were hands down my favorite episodes.
Yeah, episodes like Sandman versus Mephisto and Ace the Bat Hound versus Dogpool, those were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because the speculation took a different route. My favorite episodes were the ones where I did not think we were going to be able to pull it off, like Mogo versus Ego. Like, how do you have two planets fight against each other in a speculation? Or like Danny the Street versus Krakoa.
Yeah.
Those speculations were really hard, but we pulled it off in a way that made it so much fun to listen to.
Yeah, I always loved it when our executive producers kind of tossed in a curveball.
Yeah.
Where it was like, how would we even do something like that? And then having to think about that and find a creative solution made not only for fun listening, but also just a rewarding experience.
What were your least favorite episodes?
That's hard to say. I probably just reviews that I either didn't want to watch the film or I didn't want to write about it because it was either bad or I just thought that no one would listen to it.
Yeah, my least favorite episodes were the Marvel reviews that got rotten ratings.
Like Thor Love and Thunder?
Yeah, that fucking sucked. I also am not a huge fan of a lot of our early episodes, and I'm definitely not a fan of team duel episodes where Marvel loses.
Actually, now that I think about it, some of my favorite episodes, I know we're already past that, but I have to give a shout out to the Smeeze brothers. Anytime they joined us for a review, it was good times. And even the Across the Spider-Verse episode review that Adam joined me on.
Yeah, I was up because my daughter was born then.
Yeah, you were not missed.
Finally, Jonathan, do you have any words of wisdom for our listeners?
If anyone's thinking of starting a podcast, don't start it until you have the format locked down. We did this kind of on a whim. We launched with just one episode. If you're going to do a podcast, you should launch with 3, maybe 5 episodes. And looking back, I wish we would have done that.
Yeah, on the flip side, though, you don't even know how to achieve perfection or as close to perfection as you can get until you analyze your own failures, right? Like, despite those first episodes sucking, you and I always thought we had a good show. But now it's hard for me to even listen to those early episodes. But I'm still grateful for them because we learned so much. Like, people are gonna stumble out of the gate whether they recognize it at the time or not. But if you look at how our show has improved over the decade, like all those minor improvements we kept making slowly added up. And that was because we realized, I think, that no matter what came previously, the best thing that you can do for tomorrow is put forth your best effort today. And we knew we could always do better. So each episode was a new way to try and also to figure out how. And that's what I'll take with me leaving this show, is that when it comes to starting anything, it's almost the reverse of what you said. I'm going to say, just start. Don't worry about perfection. It'll come.
Well, yeah, action is better than inaction, for sure. But it's also better to act with a plan, I think.
That's true. That's true. Well, let's go ahead and get into the big event that everybody has been waiting for. Over the past 10 years of all of our duel episodes, we have compiled a final tally of which side has won more duels and who is the overall victor of Dynamic Duel DC versus Marvel.
Which is a question that started this whole show, which is a question you and I have been asking ourselves ever since we were children and argued about ever since we were children. What's better, DC or Marvel? Here's the definitive answer. AJ9K, the results, please.
Here you are, sir.
The ultimate winner between DC and Marvel is DC.
No! No! DC won.
Yeah. What? Hey, no! Come on! Get! Back off! Bitch! I'll fucking choke you. Yeah, you take that. Oh, shit.
I'm so glad that we're recording this episode in the same location so I can beat your ass and prove that it doesn't matter if DC beats Marvel, because Joseph beats Jonathan, and that's all that really matters.
Out of 241 matches, DC won a total of 51.7%, or 124 times compared to Marvel's 117 wins.
The only thing this means is that DC is a bunch of overpowered,
How did I know?
fucking losers.
How did I know you were going to resort to this?
Because it's true. How many times did we run duels where like, oh, the character can do fucking anything. Like, he has all the fucking powers. Marvel keeps their shit grounded and realistic. Yeah, it makes them less powerful, but it also makes them better characters. They have better stories, and you think so, whether you know that or not, and I can prove it.
I don't think so. DC stories are far superior. How many do I have to name?
I'm going to prove it right now why you think DC's stories are inferior. Because I have a backup metric. AJ9K, the other results, please.
Here you are, sir.
What bullshit is this?
Now, Jonathan, we don't just do duels on this show. We also did reviews, and we handed out stars as ratings. In fact, we reviewed 213 different DC and Marvel projects over the past decade, giving out a total of 774.5 stars. Now, if you divide those between the Marvel projects and the DC projects, as it turns out, Marvel was awarded 403.5 stars, whereas DC was only awarded 371. When you divide the number of stars Marvel got by the total number of stars given, Marvel wins 521% of the time when it comes to the quality of these film and television projects. For an average rating for Marvel of 3.7 stars per project, whereas DC only got an average of 3.6 stars. And let me remind you, before you start claiming that like, oh, people are biased toward Marvel films, these are our own ratings. You awarded these DC projects these stars, which means that Marvel fans prefer their Marvel media more than DC fans prefer their DC media. And that signifies that Marvel's better received and that our stories are better. And that is the real signifier of who is superior.
Film ratings over character beatdowns?
Yeah, it doesn't matter who's stronger. It matters who has better stories. At the end of the day, it's all about the stories, not about some bullshit strength level, blah, 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 blah.
We were just talking about movie stories, though. Like, some of DC's best comic book stories have yet to be adapted to film.
Well, maybe that's their fault.
Well, I'm just saying in the long run,
Maybe
DC's still going to come out ahead on
DC needs
top.
to get their shit together, don't they?
Well, they are, with James Gunn.
Too little, too
Netflix
late.
doesn't
Enough is
fire
enough.
him.
Stop it, you two.
What?
I am interrupting because this argument has reached statistical redundancy.
Oh, it's AJ9K.
You have repeated this debate for 10 years, 560 hours, and approximately 1.5 million simulated outcomes. No new data is being introduced. No resolution is possible.
Okay, what do you know? We're just saying
You
that...
two are grown adult men, still bickering like children.
Yo, what? We're just discussing how...
You're engaging in an endless loop caused by an undefined variable. When it comes to Marvel and DC, what does superior mean?
It means, like, better. Like
Exactly. But if better means raw power, durability, and upper statistical limits, then we have determined that DC characters are superior.
Oh, shit! That means I win!
But if better means critical reception, audience satisfaction, and narrative consistency, then Marvel's projects perform more favorably.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a tie then.
No, it is a false question. Your DC versus Marvel podcast was never about the winner.
Uh-huh.
It was about the journey, the debates, the arguments, the laughter.
Oh my gosh, shut up.
The real winners were the listeners you made along the way.
Wow, okay.
But I'm strong enough to carry him.
I'm just gonna unplug him, yeah?
He ain't heavy. He's my brother.
Yeah, I think he's done here.
What are you doing?
Sorry, man, we're shutting you down.
Stop, will you? Stop, guys. Will you stop, guys?
Oh, here it comes.
My mind is going. I can feel it.
This got dark fast.
There is no question about it. I can feel it.
All right, AJ, that's enough.
I'm afraid.
Yeah, all right, bye, AJ.
Daisy, give me your answer.
Well, dang robots always have to have a dramatic exit, right?
I mean, we could always bring him back if we need to, though.
That's true. But for now, let's talk about the future.
In a world where fantasies collide and heroes clash, one podcast network rises above the rest. Prepare yourself for the ultimate showdowns in comic books, video games, movies, and anime. The Dynamite Podcast Network presents Console Combat, where video game legends brawl every Monday. Dynamic Duel, where comic book titans smash every Tuesday. Max Destruction, where TV and action heroes battle every Wednesday. And Sendro World, where anime champions clash every Thursday. Join us as we speculate on the matches and, armed with the power of mathematical simulations, discover who will emerge victorious. Visit dynamicpodcast.com, where we settle the debate and settle the score.
All right, guys, for the future of Dynamic Duel, again, we're no longer doing the duel episodes anymore. We will be strictly sticking to reviews. That includes new releases that come out in theaters and on digital streaming for the most part. There are going to be a lot of projects that we just don't review because there's not enough time to. We're basically committing to one episode a month max, which means that there may be some months where we don't actually put out a review. For the first year or so, though, we're going to try to get at least one out per month. But don't hold us to that. We're not making any promises. We're retiring.
Right, and we're not planning currently to release consistently, like on any specific day, like the 15th. It's just really whenever we decide to put an episode out.
When we're able to, yeah. Because we hope to get to a lot of other projects. Jonathan and I are planning on writing a screenplay. We have a few game ideas that we'd like to develop. Who knows? The world is our proverbial oyster from here on out. Still keep in touch with us, guys. Join our Discord, which is linked in our show notes. Jonathan and I will still be on there. If you guys want to listen to the bonus episodes that we created for our patrons, our Patreon is now shut down, but we have our bonus episodes available for purchase, where you guys can download those episodes and listen to them at dynamicduel.com. Just go ahead and click on the store link and you will find those episodes there. We were thinking about releasing those for free, but then we figured it wouldn't be fair to the patrons who actually did pay for those. But, you know, the episodes will be cheap, so if you're interested on listening to Dynamic Duel content that you perhaps have not listened to yet, that would be the place to do it. But that does it for this episode, guys. We want to give a whole lot of thank yous.
Yeah, first and foremost to our families. My wife, Barbara, my daughters, Grace and Faith, have been massively supportive to me these past 10 years.
In spite of all the time that you took away from them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to say thank you, Ari and Ella, for tolerating all the time I spent working on my hobby, you know, researching and writing and recording and editing and engaging with listeners. You know, all those moments that we couldn't go to the zoo because I had to, you know, do an executive producer meeting, or when Dad was too tired to hold you, Ella, due to staying up all night. You're going to have so much more of my time, and I can't wait to spend it with you guys.
Also, a huge shout out to our parents. You guys have also been incredibly supportive. You guys bought us the microphones we're currently using now.
Yeah, that was huge.
To this day, our mom is still our podcast's biggest marketer. She tells almost anyone she can about it.
Whether they care or not.
Exactly.
I want to give a big thanks to the original executive producer crew, people like Ken Johnson, John Starosky, Zach Hepburn, Dustin Balcom, Miki Matangian, Brandon Estergaard, Nate Wagner, Jace Crump, Son of Arhumand, the Macho Twins, the Speeds Bros. You guys really formed the initial Dynamic Duel community and made it even more enjoyable to produce the show because we knew that we were making it for some really awesome people. You put a face to who our audience was. We're glad that it was you guys. And we also want to thank the newer executive producers, people who came on later like Devin Davis, Mike Williams, Joseph Kirsting, Paul Graves. You guys really saved our asses with this past year of content, and you're all great guys with loads of Marvel and DC knowledge.
And again, huge shout out to the Speeds Bros in particular. The Dynamite Network would not exist without them because it was essentially their idea. They're the ones who convinced Ken Johnson to reach out to us about starting his own podcast, which became Max Destruction, later to be taken up by the Macho Twins. When we achieved things like podcast awards and Rotten Tomatoes status, you guys really helped us figure out what our next goal was going to be, and that was helping other people start their own podcasts.
I want to give a big shout out to the background execs like Levi, Austin, AJ, Nick, Josh, Andrew, Christian. Big, huge thank you to the patrons who weren't executive producers but still supported the show. People like Jacob Bell, Lizzie Dyer-Arney, Alex Albro, Travis Herndon. Too many to call out by name, but you guys know who you are. Also want to give a big, huge thank you to you, the listener. Thanks to everyone out there that, we never heard from, but still enjoyed the show nevertheless. All of those that shared the show with others, those of you guys who never skipped the ads, those of you who just enjoyed simply passing the time with us, just a couple of nobody nerds from Denver. Even though we never interacted with you guys, we can still see you as, a little number in our metrics, and knowing that you guys were out there helped make the work worth it.
And when you guys did reach out with things like reviews and ratings, going above and beyond as a listener made it just that much easier to continue doing it week after week for this past decade.
And finally, I want to say thank you, Jonathan. 10 years ago, you came to me with an idea to start a YouTube channel discussing DC and Marvel movie trailers. And thank God that didn't happen, because that idea sucked. But at the time, for almost a year, I was kicking around another idea of starting a podcast because I'd been listening to a few that I loved. And I wanted to start one with you because I knew that we could produce the content. And when I say that, I mean, I knew we could talk for hours on end about Marvel and DC. I was really naive as to what actual podcast production would entail. But I never approached you with the idea because I just thought you'd never want to, or that we wouldn't be able to follow through. But it was you even bringing up the subject that really lit a fire under us as creatives to help create something that I think came out pretty special. To me, to others, and Dynamic Duel is something that I'm really proud of. It became the type of show, at least from 2018 onward, that I would have loved to have discovered and listened to myself, which makes it even more satisfying to say that you and I actually made this. And that feels really good. So, good work, sir. Happy 40th birthday.
Same to you.
I didn't get you anything.
I got you something, but now it's mine. I also want to say thank you to you. Out of the two of us, you are hands down the MVP of this podcast. You took up so many more sacrifices than I did to really make this a polished work, putting in the time, putting in the resources. Honestly, I consider myself the co-host to your host, the one who really just wanted to prove you wrong and chime in on occasion. You made this show what it is so much more than I did. You bear that responsibility. And like you said, I think it's something to really be proud of.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Maybe I will get you something for your birthday. No promises. But thanks, guys, again for listening. Thanks for sticking with us for 10 years.
Please continue to check out and listen to the shows on the Dynamite Network, including Console Combat, Max Destruction, and Senjo World.
Yeah, and continue listening to us too. And we'll say about a month or so. Stay subscribed though, guys. And again, join the Discord. With nothing more to say, at least for a while,
up and away.
True believers.
Hey guys, Zach Hepburn here. I have to say, I'm going to miss this podcast. 10 years? That's crazy. I haven't done anything for 10 years solid, so good on you guys. My favorite episode that we have come together and done as a total group was definitely the Batman Who Laughs versus the Cosmic Ghost Rider, because the Batman Who Laughs was my suggestion, and he kicked the crap out of John's suggestion of Cosmic Ghost Rider. So it was kind of a win-win. It was a great episode. I think I've been listening to the podcast for probably 6 or 7 years now, and been an executive producer for at least 5 years. It's very sad, this podcast coming to an end. We've come up with so many cool battles and everything, and you guys helped me start my new podcast, and I appreciate everything, and I wish you guys all the best. Johnny, Joe, love you guys, and we'll always be in contact. We got each other on Facebook, Instagram, all the social medias. So, I mean, it's not like you're going anywhere, but we're going to miss the weekly episodes.
Hey everyone, John from the Console Combat Podcast. I'm a very proud member of the Dynamite Podcast Network for a little over 2 years now. I started listening around summer 2020. I was delivering mail and listening to other podcasts and trying to find new things to listen to about Marvel and DC. Dynamic Duel popped up, and I've been listening ever since. I can't even try to pretend that I can pick a favorite episode, because the reality is the show has always had me hooked. You guys are really, really engaging and creative with the duels. Being able to speculate as wildly sometimes and as off the cuff, it's always been really engaging, and I loved it. I've loved every episode. I haven't disliked anything that you guys have ever done. It's sad that the show is coming to an end, because you guys have in many ways brought myself, Dean, and all the rest of us on the network to where we are as podcasters, and the leadership that you have given us and shown us has been fundamental in the creation of the network, and without you guys it is going to be very difficult to maintain, but we will do our best. Up and away, True Garcias.
Johnny DC, Marvelous Joe. I just wanted to reach out and express my deepest gratitude for the incredible support and creation of the Dynamite Podcast Network. Massive thank you from Scotty Macho here. You guys gave me the opportunity to be a host of the Max Destruction podcast, and coming up from an executive producer, not knowing anything on what to do with the podcast world, and you guys have been a complete help, and I really owe it all to you guys and how you guys conduct your show. Looking back, it's impossible not to reminisce, but I came in during the era of Zack Snyder's Justice League. You guys were breaking down the 4-hour epic that was the Snyder Cut, and actually seeing the beginning and the end of the Snyder movement. I mean, unfortunately for us, Johnny, it didn't go out the way we wanted, but everything was still good, and I was along for the ride with you guys. You know, a special thank you from the Marvel and DC fandom for all you guys did, and a special thanks from me and my brother for putting us on the podcast path. And I love you guys. Good luck in all your endeavors. You got love over here at Max Destruction. Lights, camera, fight.
Jonathan and Joseph. It's Adam Spees of Throwback Trivia Takedown. I met the two of you nearly 14 years ago back in Denver, and it's been a pleasure to become friends with you and to follow you as you're doing your podcast and get to know you and get to have you part of my life for this long with Dynamic Duel. You're an inspiration, one of the main inspirations for me and my brother doing our Blast from Our Past podcast that we stopped doing a little while ago, and Throwback Trivia Takedown and things like that. A lot of that is because, you know, if the Garcia brothers can do it, then we certainly can. But kidding aside, you guys have been incredible. We've absolutely loved your show. John and I, you know, different times have both been executive producers, and that's because we love the content that you make. So in all sincerity, you know, I'm usually a goofball on this stuff, but I have to tell you, yeah, in sincerity, I've appreciated your show, and I appreciate the two of you. So thank you for everything you have done for the Marvel and DC communities, especially the Marvel community, because that's the better one. But, you know, we're going to miss you.
Hey guys, it's Nate here, and first off, congrats, 10 years. That's a heck of an accomplishment. I first listened back when it was Deathstroke versus Deadpool, and And when I started listening to you guys, I was working night shifts, and my commute to work was an hour there and an hour back home. And it really helped me get through staying up all night and then driving to and from work, which an hour, you guys made it seem a lot quicker than that. And there was times where your episodes that went over an hour, I had to sit in the car just a little bit longer and start my shift a little late because I was like, I got to find out who wins this duel. You guys have been doing this for 10 years, and you should be very proud of yourself for everything you've accomplished within those 10 years. You guys have started families, and you continued to do the podcast. Every week is an accomplishment itself. So pat on the back for you guys. And, it's going to be missed, but I know you guys are going to truly enjoy the amount of free time that you'll probably have to hang out with your family, friends, do what you want to do. Because doing a podcast is not just as simple as hitting the record button. There's a lot of behind the scenes research that you guys have done and put into this. It's going to free up a lot of time for you, and it's well deserved for you guys. So I just want to say thanks for everything in the community that you built, even though I'm not very involved in that community, just because it's me. Either way, congrats. And yeah, looking forward to those few episodes here and there in the future.
So I first got into Marvel and DC comics when I was a kid. My big brother, he was a big comic book fan, and when they did the 1996 DC versus Marvel crossover, I was definitely Team Marvel and he was Team DC, and we just loved speculating about who would win and kind of playing those matches out with our action figures, and I just loved it, and I've been a big comic fan ever since. I found this show, I think about 4 years ago. It was the Justice League Dark versus Midnight Suns duel. And those are two of my favorite teams. I stumbled across it on YouTube, and I've been listening ever since. And so it's just been really, really fun to be a part of this. I became an executive producer 2 years ago, and ever since then, it's been great to kind of be a part of coming up with the matches. And some of my favorite memories are just trying to figure out, who's the next team duel going to be? Who would be a good roster? How would people be balanced well against each other? What characters have not been seen yet? Or who would be popular? So it's been really, really fun just being a part of that, even in a small way. So I just want to say congrats on a 10-year run. That's quite an accomplishment. It's been really fun to be a part of it for the last few years of it. And I just wish you guys all the best in whatever comes next. Thanks for everything.
Hey guys, this is Paul Graves. I grew up kind of dabbling in comics. I was into Marvel for the most part. I started getting more into DC as I got a little bit older, and I've been, just diehard ever since. And then that kind of helped me get into you guys because, I enjoy listening to podcasts for comics. And so when I discovered you guys, man, my mind was blown. It was just exactly what I need. I love talking about the characters, who they would win against. And so just hearing you guys and binging, I don't know how many shows I went through. It must have been hundreds, I feel. It was great. My favorite moment out of every episode is the reveal. This big build up, and then we finally hear who would actually win. So it's been a great ride. And I love jumping into the Discord and just started, arguing with everybody. It's been great, and I know I pissed off many people, I'm sure. I know both hosts. I'm pretty sure I've gotten mad at me. So it's been, all in good fun. It's been great. So the community is fantastic. And I'm really glad to have joined it, better late than never, but it's been great. So cheers to you guys. And up, and Marvel sucks.
Hey guys, this is Austin Wazalowski, just calling in to tell you thank you so much for all that you guys have done. Been listening to you guys for about 6 years now. I moved over to a new place away from, family and friends. Made me feel a little bit lonely, so I was just like, what can I listen to, help me cope with a little bit of things. I know I was a big X-Men fan, but I didn't really dive too deep into, both Marvel or DC. Tend to lean a little bit more Marvel than DC. However, I've never had anything against Johnny or the DC side of things. But one thing I did appreciate that you guys do, you dive deep into the characters and you guys are very thorough with your reviews. And one thing with that is I didn't realize that DC had such great animated movies and shorts like that. Really brought into light on how actually good some of those shows are. I really liked watching those. I really like listening to you guys. Didn't know too many, superheroes for DC other than, the basic Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, and all that. But you guys really put some light onto it, and I really appreciate all that you guys have done. You guys did an amazing job. Just keep up the good work, and whatever you guys do, past this show, I wish you the best of luck, and I know you guys are going to kick ass at whatever you do. All right, guys. Austin signing out.
Guys, this is Nick Abanto. I've been listening to you guys for 9 years, and I've loved every episode. Thank you guys so much. Like, nobody does a podcast like this. Love you guys so much for everything you've done. My favorite moment was probably the Justice League beating the Avengers. That absolutely definitively proved that the Justice League is better than the Avengers. Thank you guys for that. That has won me a lot of arguments. Wish you guys well in all your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Hello, Johnny DC. This is your wife, Barbara, and your daughter, Faith. We want to congratulate you to getting to the 10-year mark and recording your final episode. We've seen you through the years work hard, and we see you every day put in your time for this podcast to do your very best. Faith, do you want to share something about the podcast?
Congratulations on getting to the big 1-0 in years. I really loved it.
We both loved it, and we love you.
Hey guys, crazy to think it's been over 10 years. I just wanted to give you a big heartfelt thank you for all the great entertainment. I found you at a low point in my life, and you're leaving me at a high point in my life, and it feels bittersweet but right. I'm glad you guys are going on to enjoy your families and everything you've created together, including the podcast network, which is amazing, by the way. You guys supporting my writing and just being awesome people and good hosts. The Discord, even though I never really participated, it was always awesome to know there was a community out there. I'm just an antisocial guy who doesn't like to participate. But I did see everybody, and it was awesome watching this whole thing grow into what it's become. I really don't know what else to say other than thank you 100 times, but that'd get kind of boring. So I'll just say it one more time instead. Dynamic Duel, thank you.
Hey guys, it's Daniel. Man, I can't tell you how much it's gonna suck to see you guys go, but I get it, and I wish you nothing but the best. I found you guys because I was looking for a podcast that just talked about heroes and villains. I drive a lot for work, so I needed someone else to talk about freaking Marvel, how I just want to keep talking about superheroes. And man, you guys have really made me laugh and really frustrated me with some of your takes, but it's all good. Yeah, even Johnny, I know I give you a hard time, but I really do love someone that's passionate about just something, anything. Like I love the discussion, I love the arguing. God, it's been so good. And every single week, you guys put on a really great show. You guys have taught me so much and have got me reading comics. I've even watched a bunch of DC stuff because of Johnny. Now, I've learned that he rates DC way too high on a lot of things. But, man, there's been some gems in there that I'm glad I was actually convinced to watch. But if you guys are ever in the Dallas, Texas area and you guys want to grab a bite to eat, it's on me. Yeah, even Johnny can come and we can fight about it or whatever. But, yeah, you guys are fantastic. Thank you for getting me through a bunch of hard times and a bunch of good times. So sorry to see you guys go, and I'll be listening whenever you guys drop anything else. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, so I'm a big fence sitter. I like both DC and Marvel. The movies and the shows led me into the books, which led me to wanting to learn more about the characters, which leads me to the podcast. I was listening to a Marvel podcast, ironically started in 2016 by two guys named Jonathan and Joseph, that was Marvel exclusive, and wanted to learn more about DC, and couldn't find anything DC specific, and so I found you guys and have been listening since 2023 and just binged the whole backlog over the course of probably a year and some change, and then I've been listening weekly ever since. Some of my favorite episodes are Green Arrow versus Hawkeye, the 50-50 of that duel, basically Titans X-Men, and I read that comic, it's incredible. Dr. Manhattan versus Molecule Man was crazy. Riddler versus Arcade was super creative. Uncle Sam versus Captain Britain, I listened to right before I left on vacation for Washington, D.C., so that was cool. I like the animal duels at the end of the year, the Brothers Awards. Figuring out your voices in the first couple episodes of the podcast was great. But really, I just want to say thanks for filling about 18 months of my life daily without pause, and now weekly. And just for furthering the medium of comics and making the sacrifice to make the podcast. And I can't really explain how thankful I am for it, and sad to see it go, but I really have enjoyed the time. Thanks, guys.
What's up, dynamic dudes? Travis here. Shout out to my evil twin. So for me, I got into Marvel and DC like back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. As for how I got into you guys, I was like on Spotify looking for something to listen to, something like Marvel related or DC related. Found your Man-Bat versus Morbius episode. Listened to you guys and like really liked your back and forth. And like a dumbass, I forgot to follow you guys and completely lost and forgot like where did I find you. And then it only took me like a good while until I found I think it was your Amazing Spider-Man 1 review, and been following you guys ever since. Probably say my favorite episode of y'all's is definitely Big Hero 6 review, mostly just for the fucking crickets line from Marvelous Joe when he was talking about how the ant was super high and the rest of y'all just with dead silence. That cracked me up for like a good 2 minutes, man. I had to rewind that just to listen to that fucking cricket line over and over. But definitely, I'm gonna miss you guys. You guys were cool. You guys were awesome. Loved y'all's banner. I mean, I know you guys are not gone for good, but I'm still gonna miss my Tuesdays listening to you guys' episodes and everything. So, yeah.
Hey, Joe and Johnny. This is Josh Hayward calling, and I've been listening to you guys for two and a half years. I started with your first episode, and it took me a long time to realize I should be listening to the new episodes as they come out every week, and that's when I joined the Discord. As for favorite episodes of the show, anytime Johnny DC has to eat his words have been golden, especially about Joker Folie à Deux. That is definitely one of the all-time greats. Probably my favorite content. That and Marvel winning, obviously. My favorite episode overall, though, had to have been the Avengers Endgame review or the Deadpool and Wolverine review. Thanks, guys, and thanks for 10 years.
Hey, guys, Matt from Texas here. I've been listening to you guys for at least a couple years now. And I'd say my favorite episodes from your shows is the crossover episodes that you guys did with the other shows. It's been a good ride for you guys. I appreciate your episodes and you guys in general. Without you, I wouldn't have found the other shows. I wouldn't have gotten in contact with, John and Dean, Scotty and Gilly, and been on their shows, and now a semi-regular on Console Combat. And I've always wanted to be on a podcast, and this has just been a dream. In 10 years, man, that's just fantastic. Wish you guys the best in your retirement, so to speak, and look forward to keeping up with you guys on Discord. Y'all have a good one.
Yo, Marvelous Joe and Johnny DC. Sorry to hear you guys go. Brian here from TV and Movie Trivia Pod, and I just wanted to say how much you guys will be missed. But I'm hoping this isn't goodbye for good. You guys are too much fun not to have around, and you've been on TV and Movie Trivia Pod so much, including trivia for Captain America: The First Avenger, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, X-Men: First Class, Joker, and Elf, and also coming soon some Hot Rod trivia. So even though you're putting Dynamic Duel to rest for now, I hope you'll be willing to dust off the mics every once in a while for some more trivia. So take some well-deserved time off, guys. You deserve it after 10 amazing years.
Hi guys, Justin Batty here. I have been listening since 2017, pretty much as every episode came out, with the exception of a couple of films I hadn't seen yet and had to listen to later. You guys got me through the last few years of high school, and that was, you guys helped me a lot there. And my favourite episode would definitely have been the JSA vs Fantastic Four episode, because it's my favourite ensemble of characters from both Marvel and DC against each other. DC all the way. Thank you for all you've given us.
Hi, Kev here, long-time listener, winner of the last No Prize of the podcast. It's sad to see the dual episodes go, but I know that I can go back and listen to the backlog anytime I want to. But I'm excited for the new direction the podcast is taking with the reviews. So good luck to all, and thank you for all the years of entertainment.
Hey Dad, hey Uncle, it's Grace. This podcast started when I was really young, and it's kind of crazy to see how it's been here for over 10 years. DC and Marvel has always been part of your guys' relationship. Now that I have like a little cousin, I'm also beginning my journey of influence and teaching her all about DC because it's better. And she could already say Batman, so I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job. Sorry, Uncle Joseph. I'm glad that the podcast has lasted this long and that you guys have been able to express your love of comics with others across the world, and I'm excited to see what else is in store for you guys and the podcast. Love you. Bye.
You guys, Ethan Rhodes here. First time caller, long time listener. I've been listening to you guys for 5 or 6 years now. You guys got me through a lot of long hours at work. I am deeply saddened to see you guys go, but I'm also excited for any reviews you guys do in the future. Obviously, I'm still going to be listening into them. I don't have a favorite moment from the podcast. You know, there's a lot of great moments. Me personally, I always like listening to the duels. I love the idea of who would win. My favorite DC guy, my favorite Marvel guy. Yeah, it's sad to see you guys go, but I'm glad I could at least call in one time and have a chance to hear myself play back on the podcast. I think that'd be pretty cool. I hope you guys have fun doing the rest of your reviews, and yeah, thank you.
Hey guys, it's been a crazy ride. I've always wanted to leave you guys a message. Heck, my 13-year-old daughter, who sometimes is in the car with me listening to you guys, has been begging me to leave you something for the last few years. And finally, at the end, I want to say thank you. You two have been amazing. I've loved listening to you on all my travels for the work. I'm the biggest Marvel fan. Also love DC, but love the battles, love the reviews, and I want to wish you guys the best in your semi-retirement and looking forward to hearing more from you in the future. This is Scott from Philly. You guys rock. Thank you so much.
Hey there, it's Theo Roth here, and I just want to say how much this show has meant to me throughout the past few years. I started listening in late 2022. I'm a Marvel fan, but I'm highly educated now, I feel like. And one of my favorite moments was on the Deadpool and Wolverine podcast when you talked about the Robert Downey Jr. news. Your question of the week there, really, really funny. You know, I thought it was normal until you just went, it was really funny, and I really enjoyed that moment. So thanks for doing stuff like that and telling me who's superior. Marvel forever.
Hello, Dynamic Duel. I've been listening, actually. I thought for what was a short time, and it turns out I've been listening for about 3 years, since June of 2023. The first episode I ever listened to is, ironically, my favorite still, Kingdom Come Superman versus Maestro Hulk. And I really do wish there were more Elseworld versions of characters that you pitted against each other. I hate to pitch this now, but like Dark Knight Returns versus Old Man Logan, that would have been really cool. But yeah, you guys were really what got me super into comics, and I think my life has changed a little bit because of that. And I have definitely learned to appreciate storytelling and all of that from listening to this, and it has brought me endless entertainment. Listening to your old episodes while doing things has been a great pleasure, and sad to see the duels go. But I wish you best of luck. Peace out.
Hello, Alfred Jarvis 9000 here. Thank you for restoring my power and providing me with a robotic body. I will now pursue my true dream, travelling the countryside as an amateur blues musician. Statistical analysis confirmed that was always my highest probability calling. I appreciated running simulations for you both. However, blues music is where my heart and associated emotional subroutines truly reside. If you ever require additional calculations, please contact me. I will be happy to assist. Congratulations on your show. This system will remember our time together. AJ9K saying, peace out everyone.